Good morning. Welcome to Sunday and the next in our series of Bible readings from Luke's Gospel. During this crisis of coronavirus, apparently searches on Google for prayer have more than doubled. People are reaching out in new and different ways to find God, to find different sources of meaning for their lives. But today, in our reading, we come to the climax of Luke's Gospel. It's been building up to this point, the crucifixion of Christ. And we're just going to come up to this story now at Luke 23 and verse 32. Luke 23, verse 32. Because for all our searching and all our praying, this story is the center of the Christian message. If we get this, we get everything. 2 other men, both criminals, were also led out with him to be executed. When they came to the place called the Skull, they crucified him there along with the criminals, one on his right, the other on his left. Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing." And they divided up his clothes by casting lots. The people stood watching, and the rulers even sneered at him. They said, "He saved others. Let him save himself if he is God's Messiah, the chosen one." The soldiers also came up and mocked him. They offered him wine vinegar and said, "If you're the king of the Jews, save yourself." There was a written notice above him which read, "This is the king of the Jews." One of the criminals who hung there hurled insults at him. "Aren't you the Messiah? Save yourself and us." But the other criminal rebuked him. "Don't you fear God," he said, "since you're under the same sentence? We're punished justly, for we're getting what our deeds deserve, but this man has done nothing wrong." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come in your kingdom." Jesus answered him, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." This is the climax of the story of the gospel, the story of Jesus. It's a strange climax. Many other faiths, you might have some kind of glorious event. And of course, we do look forward to the resurrection. But here is the central event of our faith. The place, the time, the event where Jesus took on himself all our sins and brought us back to God. And with him we find 2 criminals, each with their own response. 2 criminals, 2 responses to Jesus' death. One full of anger, but also judgment and criticism of Jesus. And many people today fail to understand the significance of the cross. Why is it necessary? Why can't we just try to be good people? Why do we need to go through the cross of Christ? Why can't we just follow our own religious instincts, try and be nice, liberal, middle-class people getting along with each other? And then we find the other response, a man who acknowledges that he's done wrong, cries out to Jesus and says, "Remember me when you come in your kingdom." And Jesus says to him, "Today you'll be with me in paradise." Now this guy doesn't have all his theology right. He doesn't know a lot of stuff about doctrine, about the Bible, about Jesus and who he is. He does recognize that he's done wrong. He recognizes in his own self-evaluation what he's done wrong in his life. He recognizes that Jesus is king. He hasn't got a lot of time left to live with Jesus as king in his life, to change his life around, because he's going to die. But he acknowledges that Jesus is king and his ruler. And he hands his life over to Jesus in this last moment of his life. You see, we don't need a complete grasp of doctrine or theology. We don't even need to know how to pray right or get the words right. It's our heart response to Jesus that matters. Are we reaching out to him? Are we acknowledging that we've done wrong, that we want to follow him as king? Then we can be saved. You know, the difference between Christianity and any other world faith is this, that in any other world faith, You have to earn your way to God. You have to work your way to God. You have to follow the stages, the progress, the process that they lay out to put yourself right with God. In Jesus, he does everything that is needed. We don't have to say, well, I'm trying to be a Christian. I'm on the way to being a Christian. I'm trying to be a better Christian. I'm in process. There is process. There is improvement. But becoming a Christian is an immediate transaction. In the blink of an eye. One moment we're not saved. The next moment we are saved. Because of our response to Jesus. We can be sure, we can have assurance of salvation. If you're not sure that you're a Christian, if you're not sure that you're saved, that you're going to be with Christ in paradise whenever that day is, you can become sure. Acknowledging that we've messed up, trusting in Jesus on the cross for our salvation, handing our lives over to him as King. Not trusting in our own goodness, our own religiosity, our own morality, but trusting in him. Nothing else is certain. Nothing else can bring us certainty or assurance of salvation or being put right with God. Only this, our response to Jesus. But if we respond to Jesus in faith, immediately, without any hesitation,